Most critics of Nostradamus attack his book of prophecy on two fronts, being ambitious and failure to predict. It is hard to defend poor Nostradamus as he wrote 949 quatrains, and even I, a Nostradamus believer, had a hard time understanding most of them. However, on the one I thought I got, they were shockingly precise with amazing details. Don't believe me? Check out my interpretations on his predictions on Queen Mary of Scots, the English monarch, the love on Queen Elizabeth, the JFK and Lincoln assassinations, the wars, the next Antichrist, and predictions on 2017 and 2018. If I can't send chills down your spine, you need to see a chiropractor. But it's easy to link his quatrains on events already happened. I know you will think I'm totally crazy if I tell you that Nostradamus gave me detailed descriptions on the October 2017 Vegas massacre, but before jumping to conclusions, you should check my video out and then search internet on that quatrain. Like I said, you will be surprised. However, no matter how sad the Vegas massacre was, it is not likely an event worth noting 500 years ago. Actually, we probably would have forgotten in less than 500 days. But search the festival in the Book of Prophecy, and you'll find it appeared only once, and by linking the names in the quatrain, you will actually get the location of the massacre. Of course, there is a 0 chance I could have predicted the massacre before it happened, but I did suggest the motives based on Nostradamus' quatrain, and that seemed to have hit the marks. Although we are still speculating right now, it was indicated clearly that he may have money troubles and he is involved with gambling. Don't rule me out, think it through. You don't have to believe it, but can you deny when Nostradamus spelled out his quatrain in more detail than even the initial news report? But not being able to predict ahead of a disaster is a big problem. When I predicted 2016 election results based on crop circles in October 2016, no one was impressed. When I predicted on December 2017 that we will soon have proof of alien life and the government will soon shut down, no one seemed to pay much attention. Even when I pointed out the Navy video released 2 weeks after my video as clear evidence of alien life on Earth, I was still called stretching. Well, how can I convince you when you already decided to stand against me? That's why I've been debating if I should release this video. Every time when my video involves the current political conflicts, a few upset subscribers would leave me. But how can I keep what I found to myself without sharing with people who actually like my crazy theories? So here you go, Nostradamus' prediction on DACA. To make sure I don't drag other quatrains to this, I will show you only 2 quatrains. I mean, the only 2 containing the word dream. Century 4, Quatrain 16. The city of liberty made servile, made the asylum of profligates and dreamers. The king changed to them not so violent. From 100 become more than 1,000. When I saw this quatrain before, I thought it was about Vietnam, because the quatrain after it is about Senator Ted Kennedy's infamous Chappaquiddick incident. But with the word dreamer, I have to twist my interpretation and see what it meant about. The quatrain started by saying, the city of liberty made servile. City of liberty may mean New York, which is the 3rd largest DACA state next to California and Texas. Or it can just mean they came to the United States seeking freedom. Servile meant having or showing an excessive willingness to serve or please others. Although we heard some DACA recipients' success story, we can't deny that many of them are working at low-wage jobs and in fear of being deported. I will say Nostradamus had a very interesting pick on words. Line 2 stated, made the asylum of profligates and dreamers. With the word asylum and dreamers, I think it's not hard to link this to DACA. And what does profligate mean? Recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources. What it really meant can be debatable. Is about the welfare the government paid to DACA a reason for changing its law? Or is it the border wall considered profligate, since it is the chip bidding against DACA? The king changed them, not so violent, is the next sentence. This is my take on what it means. The king, President Trump, will change the DACA law, but he will soften his stand and allow individual applicants to stay on temporary basis so the good ones can apply for visas. There will be major changes to DACA, but I think President Trump will not grant citizen status, but may give some form to stay on immediate deportation. Allow DACA recipients to continue working on a visa that will disallow family members' visa requests. I think there will be a term calling for any DACA recipient with violent crime records to leave the country immediately. The next Dreamer quatrain is Century 4, Quatrain 59. Too beset and burning fervor. My thirst for 2 full cups extinguished, the fort filed, and an old dreamer, to the Genevans who will show the track from Nero. This one is not as clear as the first dreamer quatrain, but let's take a quick look on the words. Beset means trouble or threaten persistently, and the example used on top of my web search was the social problems that beset the inner city. Wow. Then what does burver mean? It meant intense heat. The fight between Democrats and Republicans that led to the short government shutdown over DACA. If you don't call that burning heat, what do you call that? The third line stated, the fort filed in an old dreamer. Democrats and Republicans each stood firm in their military post like the fort, with Democrats often quoted the facts that the illegal immigrants came as child are not old dreams with family and roots in USA should not be deported. The last line of this quatrain, to the Genevans he will show the track from Nero. This one is hard to decode until I searched the meaning of Nero. Guess what I found? Other people also ask, how did Nero help the Great Depression? Why was the NERA found unconstitutional? Without getting into too much details, what was NERA? It could mean National Industrial Recovery Act of 1933, a U.S. labor law and a consumer law passed by the U.S. Congress to authorize the president to regulate industry for fair wages and prices that would stimulate economic. What does that have to do with DACA? I guess it's a simple way to use 4 letters to point out the president may initiate an act that would stimulate economy, or should I say reallocate resources to areas the president saw fit, which is considered by some against the law. But with this link to NERA, I'm pretty sure that the president will have his way, as the Congress gave president a rubber stamp in 1933. But how about the mention of Genevans? I guess it just meant this will change views of our international allies' view on us. I may be wrong, but I have no doubts that these 2 quatrains are about DACA, and President Trump will change DACA similar to the way I interpret it. Actually, if we follow my logic, a century 4 quatrain 15 before the first quatrain may have some meanings also, or the century 4 quatrain 60, the one after the second quatrain, but I said I will only discuss these 2 dreamer quatrains by Nostradamus, so I guess I will conclude my discussion on these 2 dreamer quotes. Thank you for watching.